All right, how's everybody doing today? We have made it to the last parts of speech for language arts. All right, we have gone over five parts of speech. They were nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and now we're going to talk about the last three. Prepositions. Preposition is a word that shows the relationship between a noun and other words in a sentence. Alright, that sounds like a big definition. You may want to hit pause and write it out on your note page, but the main thing to know, and an easy word to remember, is position. Let's look at some examples because that's the easiest way to determine what a preposition is. Let's look at the first one. He is against the wall. Now if we go through all of our parts of speech, we're just going to kind of go through and underline the other parts of speech. He is a pronoun, which here acts as a subject, which subject is another video. It talks about subjects in depth. He is, this is a state of being verb, because he is something. It's not an action verb, it's a state of being verb. And now we have a word here, against. Against is not a noun. It's not a person, place, or thing. It's not a pronoun. It's not a verb. It's not an adjective that describes a noun. There's nothing that it's describing. It's not an adverb. Okay? Even though you could say it's a word that describes this word, he is what? Against. But we have a word for this. It's called a preposition, because it's a word that shows the relationship between a noun and other words. Well, here's our first noun, he, and here's the other words, the wall. In fact, it's another noun. The wall is a noun. So this tells the position or the relationship of he and the wall. He's against it. Alright, so this is the preposition right here. And that's all we need to know about preposition. Alright, let's look at she went inside the house. She is the subject. Went is an action verb. Okay, and here we have some other words. We have the house, which is a noun. So what's the word that shows the relationship? Or what's happening maybe between a noun and another noun or other words? Well, look at this word inside. Alright, it's not a noun, it's not a pronoun, it's not a verb. So what we do is we kind of rule out other words, and we see that inside is a location or a position of she and the house. Kind of like, let me give you another example. I'm sitting on my couch. Well, on would be the preposition because it tells where I am sitting and what I'm sitting on. I'm sitting on my couch. So that's prepositions. We'll get some more practice with that in class, of course. Now again, there's more information to know about prepositions. And there's a lot of prepositions. So you would want to do a Google search and just type in list of prepositions, and you would find a whole list so that you can see the prepositions. Alright, let's move on to conjunctions. A conjunction is a word that connects words, phrases, clauses, or sentences. The key word right here is connects. And I like this word right here, junction. This is a word that we use to describe when like two roads come together or two things come together. It's a junction. Like one road and another road, we would call that a junction. So it's a word that connects words, phrases, and clauses. The one thing I want you to learn now is two types of conjunctions. They are coordinating and subordinate. Coordinating I can explain right now. Subordinate would take a whole another video because there's more information needed to know. But you may want to write this down. Two types of conjunctions. Coordinating. The coordinating conjunctions connects words and clauses. There's a great acronym that we use called FANBOYS. FANBOYS. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Those are the coordinating conjunctions. And they bring together words and clauses. We'll talk about clauses another time. Here's an example. I fell and she laughed. Here I look at my acronym FANBOYS. I see that and belongs in there. So and connects this sentence, which is I fell and she laughed. So we have a subject and a verb, and we have the conjunction. Alright, let's look at subordinate. This introduces a dependent clause. Again, it would take a whole other video to talk about that. But let's take a look at an example. She laughed because I fell. Okay, so it's almost just like this, but we said it a different way. So it's using a subordinate conjunction. This word, because, connects the two, but the word because is not in FANBOYS. So it's not a coordinating conjunction. We would call it a subordinate conjunction. She laughed, which is a subject and a verb, because I fell. Which if we said because I fell by itself, it doesn't make any sense. So this word introduces a dependent clause. Alright, we'll talk about that on the other video. And the last one, interjections. Interjections is a short phrase or a word that expresses emotion. They are usually, which means not always, but are usually followed by an exclamation. Here's some examples. And you'll see this whenever you read books or magazines. You'll see the author write these words down. Wow! Or holy cow! Or LOL. You've probably used that a lot yourself. Whatever. Shoot! Or darn. Again, just a phrase or word that expresses emotion. We would call those interjections. It's not really a subject. There's no verb. There's no full sentence. It's just a word or a phrase that expresses emotion, but it is considered a part of speech. So you do need to know it. Alright, that's today's lesson. And that's all of the parts of speech. Please study those, and good luck on tests. Bye-bye.